Hey guys, in today's video I'll be doing another tropical update on Invest 95L, which is still in the eastern tropical Atlantic, and it still has a 60% chance of development over the next 2 to 5 days. And it says, a broad area of low pressure located almost 700 miles west-southwest of the Cabo Verde Islands is not currently showing signs of additional organization, with satellite-derived wind data from this morning still showing the system having an elongated surface circulation. However, the environmental conditions are expected to be somewhat favorable for development to occur, and a tropical depression could form during the next couple of days, while the disturbance moves generally westward to west-northwestward at 10 to 15 miles per hour across the tropical Atlantic. Conditions are forecast to become less conducive for development by the end of the week. So it still has a few days to develop into a tropical depression, maybe even a tropical storm. But then after that, pretty much after Friday, it's going to enter a much less favorable environment where the shear and dry air are going to be much more of a threat for the system. So we're really going to have to watch how the system progresses throughout this week, and then especially as we head into the end of the week, see what it's at by then and what to expect after going into this weekend into next week. Now, before I just continue and show you guys what the system looks like right now, and what the models are showing for it, this is the Mjo forecast pattern from today through week 2, which, let me just see, goes from today, from today through August 24th. So from today and then going out 2 weeks. And you can see right now the Atlantic is more of an unfavorable pattern for tropical development, with those yellows, oranges, and reds pretty much all throughout the Atlantic basin, especially in the MDR. But then these blues continue to move towards the east and get into the eastern Pacific, and then finally the Atlantic, especially as we head towards between the 16th and 24th of August. And that'll really boost tropical activity, perfectly lining up really with the peak of the hurricane season. So I think going into next week and the week after is really when we're going to have to watch out for a lot of development for tropical systems. This week is pretty much generally just, this is really the week to prepare. This, for anyone who hasn't prepared yet, hasn't fully prepared yet, this is your final week, really, to prepare for the extreme activity that is forecast to happen going over the next few weeks. This will really boost tropical activity in the Atlantic from the MDR to the Caribbean into the Gulf around the East Coast. So pretty much everywhere will be conducive for any kind of development for tropical activity. Please make sure you are prepared for that now or as soon as you can. That's a really big thing that I want to stress there for that. Now let's look at what the system looks like on satellite. Let's let this load. I apologize for how long this takes. Here we go. Here's what the system looks like. Again, yeah, it has a lot less convection with it than it did yesterday, for sure. And yeah, it's a lot less organized. But it does seem like it could try to organize more as we head going into the rest of today throughout tomorrow, going to tomorrow, and then Wednesday, and then Thursday, because really Friday and then beyond Friday is when the conditions will become a lot more hostile for the system. So, it still has a few days, still has 2 to 3 days to get itself together. We'll see. I think the chances of it becoming a tropical depression, I think it definitely could become a tropical depression if it really organizes a lot better going throughout the rest of today, and especially going to tomorrow and Wednesday. Tropical storm chances, I'm not putting it fairly high. I think maybe 30-40% chance this becomes a tropical storm. There is that potential it does, but I really think we'll wait to have to see our next tropical systems for when that really strong Kelvin wave comes through, going into next week and the next couple of weeks. So that's what generally to expect for this. Now I'll show you what the models are showing for this system. Let's show you the Tropical Atlantic to give you a better view of this system. The system is currently right there, where that low pressure mark is. And as we move farther out in time, let me zoom this in maybe a little more for you guys. The models are definitely showing it not really keeping its act together and strengthening all that much, especially as it heads into the much more higher shear and much more dry air environment around the Leeward Islands and Puerto Rico. So if it does end up becoming a named tropical storm, it would happen very, very briefly. So again, that's really that's a lot of things that are those are really the two main things that are going against it. The only thing that's really going along with it is the very warm sea surface temperatures. Otherwise, it's going to have a very hard time to develop, especially as we get towards this weekend. I'll show you what the CMC is showing for the system. There it is. And as we move it farther out in time, again, the CMC doesn't really show it to be organizing it really at all that much. Maybe it'll strengthen to a tropical depression, maybe very weak tropical storm briefly, but otherwise it's really just gonna fall apart most likely. So yeah, I don't really think at all that this will have any good chance of developing that much, but we'll see. This is the newest run of the Euro. I'll bring it back to the previous run so we can see what the Euro's thinking in full. Again, the Euro also is not really showing great vorticity with this system. So all the models really do not expect the system to develop at all. Again, I really think that we need to watch out for going from this Sunday onward, going to next week, the next few weeks. So really from this upcoming Sunday through the earlier weeks of September, from this Sunday, from around mid-August through the earlier weeks of September is when we'll really have to keep our eyes out for a lot of tropical activity. So now I'll show you the Wikipedia page for the 2020 Atlantic hurricane season. We've had 9 named storms total so far this season, so we're already off to kind of a record pace for naming systems already by this point. We've had 10 total depressions, 2 hurricanes, total 45 fatalities, 45 deaths, and the total damage is somewhere around a little more than $1.8 billion in damage. The total damage for Isaias is still being figured out because it impacted a lot of areas, caused a lot of damage to a lot of areas. And actually, I can show you currently, they did figure out how much total damage it caused for Puerto Rico. Here we go. So for Puerto Rico alone, it caused nearly $60 million in damage. So that's really, really impressive. Outside of that, it caused $20 million in damage in Delaware, somewhere a little above $40 million in North Carolina, $2.4 million in total damage, a little more than $2.4 million in damage in South Carolina, and a little over $2.2 million in damage in Virginia. They still need to figure out how much total damage it caused in Pennsylvania, New York, New Jersey, New Hampshire, Maryland, and Connecticut, and the Dominican Republic. It caused minimal damage in Florida just because it did graze Florida's east coast and come on shore. So the worst of the impacts for Isaias for Florida were just offshore. So that was a good thing for Florida, but not really for anywhere else. The next name on the list is the J name, Josephine. And there is a small chance, the very slim chance, that this system is named Josephine, but we're really going to have to wait till next week to really see the potential of what could form, especially since that Kelvin wave will be coming through, really helping the tropical activity try to form, because it will make it a lot more conducive. This is actually apparently going to be the strongest Kelvin wave to come through the Atlantic that will actually really boost tropical activity. So that's going to be really dangerous, especially since it's, again, lining up with the peak of the season. So that's really it for today's video, guys. I really hope you enjoyed. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.